Today I'm going to show you how I make heat transfers like these using Silhouette's print and cut feature with no registration marks. The materials I'm using are Caesar's Color Print Easy Printable HTV and Eco Solvent ink. And what you're going to need for this is your cutting mat and some sort of masking tape. It can be, I'm using painter's tape, but it can be regular masking tape, whatever, it doesn't really matter. The first thing you're going to do is tape off the side, the left side, and the top side of your mat. And you're going to tape it, right over to the edge. Now you're going to want to make sure that you are inside the cutting area of your mat, because what this is going to do, it's going to set your cutting guide. Okay, so we're taped off across the side and across the top. And then next we're going to load the mat. I need to move my camera back. Okay. So you load your mat as normal. And now we're going to move over to the computer. Okay. We're back over at my computer now. And I've got Silhouette open. I have my page set up, and I am using a 12 by 12 cutting mat, so that's what I've chosen. You could also do this on a 12 by 24. The first thing you're going to do is go here to this little settings, open up the preference panel. You're going to click on the default tab, and right here where it says cut to edge of page, you're going to make sure that's checked. If it's not checked, you want to go ahead and check it. If it is, then you're okay. And then you click OK. That closes out. Then you're going to go here to the line tool, and you're going to draw a line. Doesn't matter how long, but it needs to be longer than 12 inches. And it needs to be straight. So make sure it's a straight line. Okay. And then you're going to duplicate that line. Then you're going to go here to Object, Rotate 90 degrees. Go here to your selection tool. You're going to select both of the lines. You're going to go here to the Arrange, and you're going to align the top and align the left. And then group them. So now these two lines are together. Basically, it's half of a square. Then what you're going to do is go here to your location while both of your lines are still selected, and you're going to put in 0 for the X and 0 for the Y. So what that does is it puts it exactly at the edge of your cutting area. So now you're all set. And then you're going to send this. And see, there's your lines. It's going to cut. We're all set. Okay, so now we're back over at the cutter. Just cutting my lines into the tape. Okay, so now it's finished cutting. I'm going to unload it. And then I'm going to just peel where it cut. Trying to keep it in so that you can see it. Okay, so this is not an actual silhouette mat. So what this did is it set this mat so that I can line up my paper so that it cuts properly. And this is also going to let me cut without registration marks. I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then we'll go back over to the computer and continue on. Okay, got that all cleaned up, and now we're back over at the computer. So now I have my design. I'm going to put my design on where I want it. I'm actually going to change my media size to letter because that's what I'm going to be printing on. Oops. Do that. Didn't realize that wasn't grouped. I hate wasting space, so I'm just going to throw something else in there. I'll do this. Okay. So I need to make sure that I'm inside the print border, which I am. That's a very faint gray line there. So as long as you're inside the print border, you're fine. Inside the print border, and I'm inside the cut border, which is these red lines here. And I do have print bleed turned on. You don't have to turn that on, but I like to turn it on because if it's sometimes it's not 100% accurate, so it just keeps that white from showing around the outside edge. Now, if you really want an outside border, you can go here to offset. And add an offset to your image. And what that'll do is add a little bit of space around your image so that you do have that white outline purposely. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send it. And I've got it set, so it's just going to cut on the outside. It is going to print with the bleed. I'm going to load up my paper. And this, since this is just a demo, I am printing on PPD dark transfer paper. But I am using Solvent ink. So this is what I'm printing on for my practice for this demonstration. I don't want to use my printable vinyl for this. But I am printing on it with the Solvent ink. So once you send it over to the send, the thing you're going to do next is hit print. Make sure your preferences are set the way you like them. I have mine set for premium presentation matte, high quality. It pulls it from the rear carrier. I'm using a Workforce 7710, and I have it set up with a continuous ink supply system with Solvent ink that I bought from Ink Pro today. It works pretty well. I like it. Prints are really nice. Nice vibrant colors. Okay, all done. Okay, all done printing, and like I said, I have print bleed turned on, so it's got a little border around the outside so that when it cuts, I don't have any white showing on the outside. So what you do next is you place this right up against that tape. Which is exactly where your 00 is. So you want to make sure that you don't change anything between the time you print it and the time you send it to cut. Getting it all lined up. I'm going to hit load. And then I'm going to go back over to the computer and send it to cut. Oh! I forgot to delete those cut lines for the edge. So the 2 lines that we set up to cut the tape, you would delete. Okay, so now it's done cutting. Let's unload it. I put this tape on it because it just makes it easier to peel the vinyl when I get ready to weed. Oops, and I just pulled it off. Stick that back down. It cut all the way through, so I'm going to stick it back down. Sometimes it's really hard to get the edge of this vinyl to weed it. And where's my, here we go. That's my weeding tool. There you go. And see, no registration marks, and it cut perfectly. And I just tore that. Generally, you won't have to worry about this when you're using real vinyl. This is just some heat transfer paper that I wanted to use just for this demonstration to show you how I do it. So that's no real loss there. Now what I use for a weeding tool is basically a dental pick. You can get these in a pack of 4 at Harbor Freight for like $3, something like that. They're really cheap and they're better than the weeding tools. So I believe I've got everything. Okay, so now we need to use the transfer tape is called Heat Transfer Mask. And I have 2 different types. I have this one that's by Frisco Craft. I believe I got it off of Amazon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it off of Amazon. And then I have another one. I got this small roll off Amazon, but I just got a big roll from Heat Transfer Warehouse. It's the Frisco Craft one it's like a little too sticky. So I wanted to see if I could find something that's a little less sticky, a little bit easier to work with. So I tried this one, which I like it. It's not as sticky as the Frisco Craft, so it's easier to get the transfer off. It's more like standard HTV, the carrier sheet that comes on standard HTV. So you cut it to size. Now this smaller roll that I have that I got on Amazon, I actually got it for doing rhinestones. And then when I ordered the bigger roll from Heat Transfer Warehouse, that is advertised as Heat Transfer Mask. This is what I got from Heat Transfer Warehouse. But it's exactly the same. So it's a little cheaper on Heat Transfer Warehouse, that's for sure. It's I don't know if you can see that. It's KTM Mask. And I like it. So you're going to cut that to size. Pull that back sheet off. And again, I left the design on the mat because I cut all the way through. I had my blade set too deep and it cut all the way through. So I'm going to start at the center. All right. Make sure everything is cut and it's adhering really well. Now this one, I wish I could find something that was more, the adhesive was somewhere in between the two, because this one is kind of not sticky enough. I do like it, but I have to put a little extra effort into it. But the thing that I do like about it is the Frisco Craft tends to take more of the color with it when you remove it. Some of the ink sticks to it. This one doesn't do that so much. So it would be awesome if I could find something that was like a happy medium between the two. Or one that sticks and just doesn't take the ink with it. That would be awesome. Okay, I think that's good enough. But as you can see, it turned out really well. It cut perfectly with no registration marks. And now I have my two transfers that I cut with no registration marks. I hope that helps some of you out there who are having issues with wasted space and so forth, and not being able to make your images quite as big as you'd like to. If you have any questions or comments, please place them below. Thanks and have a great day.